We're ready now to take a look at some of the actual trends that are going to affect our career options. So when we analyze those trends in the marketplace, it helps us make informed decisions to know about our own career. So you might hear people say, well, what are the hot jobs now? What's popular? But we really need to think about the backbone of that question. It's not so much which jobs are hot, but more so what's making it a popular career. What are some of the factors working on it, whether it's an element of people and society, perhaps it's financial issues. What's making that job hot now? And that's what we need to decide because, your career path is a big investment. You've either gone to college or perhaps you've spent time as an apprentice or learning. You've spent money. All of those are resources that you've invested in your career path. So it's good to make sure that you do have a job that's not going to decline. You have something that there's going to be some job security there. So we're going to look at some specific examples along our lesson today. Here's one right now. The growing and aging population and the demand for health services. We have a higher life expectancy nowadays. That means people are living longer, they're needing more care. So we see a growth here. According to the statistics that we gained from the Bureau of Labor, the service-producing industry is going to account for 15.7 million new wage and salary jobs. That's a lot, and that's a huge amount. So that would be an example where we have a hot job. This is definitely a trend that we see in the marketplace. Here's a chart. Let's take a look at it and understand what it represents. This is increased employment between 2006 and 2016 in millions of jobs. So we're talking a huge number of jobs here. What's first on our list? Well, we see it's education and health services coming in right here at about 5.5 million jobs. By 2016, that's a lot. So you want to think about what kind of trend in the marketplace is causing this increase. Well, we talked about the longer life expectancy. So people are living longer, they need more care. Also, another factor is women in the workforce. There are more and more women that are going to work. And so because of that, the children, they need services to take care of them. They need educators, preschool, that sort of thing. So as we see more women going into the workforce, we see an increase in the need for good childcare. So these are all examples of trends that we might see in the marketplace that impact your career choices. The next one on our list, professional and business services. So, information technology is huge nowadays. Companies want to make sure that their information is protected and they're staying ahead of the technology game. So more and more technologically advanced workers are needed. Third on our list, leisure and hospitality. Well, guess what? With these longer life expectancies, people are living longer, they're living a good life, they're perhaps working longer, they're making more money. And guess what they're going to do with that money? They're going to spend it. They're going to have fun, they're going to enjoy it. So there's a larger awareness of going out and leisure time, having fun. There's also an awareness of health consciousness. So people are starting to wake up and realize, I need to get out and get some exercise. I need to go on this hike. I need to go on a vacation and relax a little bit. That's all part of the leisure and hospitality industries. And so when we see this trend in the marketplace, we see an increase in the amount of jobs. And that's reflected here in this chart. So it's good to understand how to read these figures and know our trends, because the last thing we want to happen is we choose a career path and it declines. So then we're left with very tough decisions. Maybe we're forced to move to a different area to find a job, or we're forced to change careers. We don't want to be stuck in that situation. So we're going to understand the trends in the marketplace so that we can make a well-informed decision. Overall, the jobs in the goods producing industry have been pretty stagnant since the 1980s, meaning they haven't moved too much. Goods producing industries, they're projected to have a decrease between 2006 and 2016. So this includes any industry where you actually produce an item. So it could be clothing industry, manufacturing, anywhere where we are producing an item that will eventually be sold or somehow consumed. We see on the left of your screen, we see an image of a farmer. And you might think of, farming, the fishing industry, ranching, all of the agricultural industries lumped together are going to have a decline. And that 2.8% decline actually equates to losing about 29,000 jobs. Okay, and that's quite a bit. So this is a trend that we're watching closely. Part of this is due to a rising population. The cost of having to deal with the rising population and needing more production. We're also starting to see more imports. So getting our fruits and vegetables and our grains, our crops from other places, and not so much from our domestic locations. In the clothing industry, for example, so these are all production workers. Could be clothing, could be textiles, as are pictured here, metal workers, any sort of production, so a product that is actually created. We're going to see a decline there as well, about 4.9%, and that equates to a whopping 528,000 jobs. That's also a lot. So that we see these trends in the marketplace, and it's important to understand and be aware of those trends so that we can sidestep those issues and make really good choices about our own career paths. I'm glad that you're starting to think about your own choices because it's very, very important. So in our next section, we're going to take a look at now the actual specific numbers. And we're going to see, using that data, what kind of smart choices can you make. So stay tuned. We've got a great part coming up, and I know you're going to walk away with some really useful information.